Everyone, call to order the December 9th Erie MPO Coordinating Committee meeting. Thank you to all those who took time to join us. Is there any hearing of the public as of now? Any hearing of the public? All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the September 9th, 2020 meeting?
William Coon, yes, so moved.
I'm sorry, would you mind saying your name?
William Coon.
Perfect.
Okay, Dave Mitchell, second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay. All right, motion carries. 2021 Transportation Improvement Program update. I do want to, Dan Keene is joining us. Also welcome Matt Crea, who is new to PennDOT, started in November. So thank you for joining us as well, Matt. Dan is still sitting in for us as he performs multiple tasks for PennDOT, but thank you, Dan. And if you could give us a few minutes of your time, it'd be appreciated.
Yeah, Tim, thank you.
Somehow I muted it.
Sounds like we got some feedback there, but I'll just start with kind of some reaffirmation amendments that we have already previously gone through via e-ballot. So the first one I'd like to talk to about there is amendment number 1. It's an amendment to the Erie MPO 2021 TIP to add Raspberry Street local Fed aid route con phase 184,256 and STP funds in federal fiscal year 2021. We're also adding Waterford Street local fade out aid route con phase 65,744 STP funds in federal fiscal year 2021, and 6th Street local fed aid route con phase 250,000 STP funds in federal fiscal year 2021. For that, we were using the Erie local fed aid route line item as a fund source. Just a quick note that ranking of these roads were approved on the June 24th coordinating committee meeting, and projects needed to be added to the 2021 program to establish a reimbursement agreement for PennDOT. We voted on this via e-ballot, and this action corresponds with page 3 in the e-ballot document that was distributed for today's meeting. The second amendment on that page is an amendment to the Erie MPO 2021 TIP to add the Summit Township local Fed aid route 2020 con phase project, 268,000 STP funds in federal fiscal year 2021. We were using US 20 Cumberland Road to Davison Road con phase as a fund source. Funding was available due to August redistribution. Project was ranked and approved by the MPO for inclusion in the 2019 TIP, but due to COVID delays, this project was not obligated and needed to be added to the 2021 TIP. Again, we voted via e-ballot, and this corresponds with page 5 in the e-ballot document that was distributed prior to today's meeting. If you could scroll down, Emily, to amendment 3. Up a little bit, I think. Might be a little lag here in the screen from what I'm seeing. But amendment 3 is an amendment to the Erie MPO 2021 TIP to remove US 20 Cumberland Road to Davison Road. The project was funded with August redistribution funds and will be used on Zuck Road, and the remaining funds will be returned to the highway bridge line item. Again, we voted via e-ballot, and this corresponds with page 1 of the e-ballot document that was distributed prior to today's meeting. So the next amendment is a transit amendment that we previously approved. So I know it just says amendment, but I'm calling it amendment number 4 to just go along with everything here. So amendment number 4 to the 2021 Erie MPO transit tip to add section 5339B buses and bus facility grant, 1,466,250 of 5339 federal funds in federal fiscal year 2021 and CARES Act funds for capital assistance con phase $2 million of 5307 federal funds. Again, we voted via e-ballot, and this action corresponds with page 7 of the e-ballot document distributed prior to this meeting. So the last one is an amendment that we will have to take action on today. So it was submitted by the Erie Metropolitan Transit Authority. I think she has it up now. Thank you, Emily. This is an amendment to the 2021 Erie MPO transit tip to add section 5339B bus and 53 and bus facilities con phase 2,031,580 of 5339 federal funds and 709,500 of local funding to the federal fiscal year 2021. So MTA was awarded funds to replace 5 buses. I think they're 35 feet compressed natural gas buses. So that's why we're adding that to the program to make an amendment, and it's obviously over $2 million. So that puts us in that threshold of an amendment. And that's all I had for this. So at this time, we'll need a motion to approve this amendment.
Do I have a motion to approve the transit amendment?
I'll make the motion.
Lawrence Sparkle motion.
Was that Gus at first?
Sorry, I'll second it then.
Okay, all right. Jan Cabaday and then Gus. Any discussion? It's easier to go with anyone opposed? And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Great. That takes care of the updates on 2021 tip, correct, Emily?
Yes, that is all.
All right, and then we have some PennDOT performance measure updates. Dan, I'm not sure if you or Emily would like to give these updates. I guess
Yeah, I could touch on it.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
fine. Do we have the PM1 up first, Emily, or? Okay. So PennDOT is required to establish targets by August 31st each year for the PM1 safety performance measure. The 2021 targets enclosed in that letter that Emily has are based on a data-driven process that trending analysis of statewide fatalities and suspected serious injury numbers. So the MPOs are required to establish targets within 180 days of PennDOT establishing its targets. So this would put us by February 27th for this performance measure. So we can agree to plan and program projects in support of PennDOT's targets, or we can establish our own quantifiable targets. Now, historically, we voted on this every year, and we have carried PennDOT's performance measures forward and accepted their measures. That's all I had for the PM1. Emily, do you want to add anything else?
No, that sounds good. We have adopted PennDOT's measures for the last 2 years. So this is an annual thing that the MPOs need to do, either adopt PennDOT's measures or establish our own. And I can say with confidence, we do not have the ability to establish our own here in Erie with all of this analysis that's being done by PennDOT. So I would highly recommend that the MPO adopt PennDOT's targets. I can go up to the actual wording of the vote needed is here. But if anyone has any questions or would like to discuss this more, I am happy to do that, and I'm sure PennDOT is happy to do that as well.
Are there any questions of Dan or Emily regarding PM1 safety target? Do I have a motion
Bill
to
Coon.
adopt? Was that Bill Kuhn with a motion?
Yes.
Okay. You want me to read the wording, Emily? Just
You can do that to enter it into the official record. That is a
Okay,
good
yeah.
idea.
the MPO, RPO agrees to plan and program projects so that they contribute toward the accomplishment of the established statewide targets. Table 2 of the enclosure reflects the corresponding MPO, RPO values using the same methodology that was established at the state level. By selecting this option, the MPO can and should still strive to reduce fatalities and serious injuries to the greatest extent possible through the portfolio of safety project included in their transportation improvement program. And I do have a motion by Bill Kuhn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by John Tushak. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carried. PM2, we don't require a vote, but is that correct, Dan and Emily?
Yes, the PM2 targets have not changed since the last time, so we do not have to adopt a new target.
Okay.
So that's the pavement and bridge measurements that Federal Highways is requiring we have a target for. So PM2 is the same as before. PM3 has been revised, so we have to look at those targets again. So PM3 is the reliability and delay on the systems, the NHS systems. So Dan or Jean, do you have anything specific to discuss with PM2 or 3?
Nope, you pretty much hit it right on the head that it's this letter is for the newly established targets for the PM3 freight movement and congestion mitigation and air quality improvement programs coming out from the mid-year or the mid-performance reporting was submitted on September 30th, and this is how they adjusted their targets for the PM3. That's all I really had to say.
Okay.
Hi, this is Gene. Yeah, I would kind of defer to Dan. Is central office still preferring that a vote be taken, even though the PM2 targets are staying the same?
This letter is specifically just for the PM3 target. It actually, I think, right there on that page, note this action only applies to measures for which PennDOT has adjusted targets. So PM3 is the only one that is being adjusted. So the acceptance / motion right now that we're going forward with is for the PM3 measure adjustment target. Does that answer
Okay.
your question, Gene?
Yeah, yes, it does. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, then do I have a motion for the MPO decision-making body to agree to support the adjusted statewide PM3 targets by planning and programming projects that contribute to meeting or making significant progress toward the established PennDOT performance targets? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to do that.
Motion by John
Second, Dave
Tushak,
Mitchell.
and a second by Mayor Mitchell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Dan, thank you very much for the updates. Appreciate that.
No problem, Tim. Thank you.
Emily, some project updates. You're going to stand in for Danny today on an EMT update that wasn't able to join us today. Other required training, I believe.
Yes, unfortunately, Danny couldn't be here, but she did supply EMTA update. So really the buses are the big thing. They received 2 grants in 2020 to buy CNG buses, which we saw amendments for both of those 2 grants in this meeting today. So that's really exciting for them. She will be at our next meeting in February. So we can hold questions until then. They are the experts at EMTA of what they're doing there. So that's all for that item.
Okay. All righty. You just want to continue on the agenda, Emily, with the
I
local
will
use
do
fee?
that. So we have the local $5 local use fee is still collecting funds. We did receive a December allocation of $400,420 in December 1st. So we have funds coming into that account. So I would like to propose having a subcommittee meeting on February 3rd so that the MPO can look at our bridge list again and select the bridges to get the next round of funding. Since we now have a surplus of funds in that account, we can start looking at the next bridges to fund. We do have a prioritized list established, but it would be good to revisit that, see how the condition of the bridges have changed, and if the prioritization system still stands. So I'm proposing a meeting February 3rd for the subcommittee meeting for the subcommittee of the $5 local use fee. We don't need to vote on that here, but I wanted to announce that and get anyone's comments about that approach. If the MPO doesn't want that to happen, now would be the time to say that.
I would say the sooner the better. The condition of Cockrell Bridge is deteriorating rapidly. So we'd like to get something going on that.
Emily, you'll reach out to the subcommittee to schedule it as soon as possible, if not February 3rd?
Yes, I will do that.
Great. Okay. All righty. I can give a quick update on the current local use fee project out in Harbor Creek if you want, Emily.
Yeah, that would be great.
All right. We actually just had another update meeting with PennDOT and Erie County Planning yesterday. So I can give the MPO an update on Leet Road, that our survey work is scheduled for the first quarter of 2021. And we'll also be working, we do need to work with 4 property owners on some easements for the project. And we're also meeting with National Fuel about a gas line that actually we believe it crosses the creek there, but it looks like it's actually serviced from the east side and the west side, and that crossing may not even be needed. So we're meeting with National Fuel on that, and our plan is to submit drawings for review by PennDOT, hopefully by the end of January, and they're thinking a 2 to 3 week review on that. So things are progressing on the Leet Road project, and we're very appreciative of the MPO for the local use fee funding. That's where we stand on Leet. Is there another one, Emily? There's another one. Is it Eder?
Eder Road is also the
Okay.
one that is currently receiving local use fee funding. It is
Okay.
in Green Township. So it is also moving forward pretty much at the same place as Leet Road. It has the DEP permits. They are waiting on the engineer to finalize drawings that need to be approved by PennDOT before anything can be put out to bid or construction start. So both those projects are moving forward. They're both still in preliminary engineering at the moment.
Okay, all right, thanks. Okay, we'll move on to 6C, Long Range Transportation Plan. There's a meeting scheduled for January 2nd. Is that correct, Emily?
Yes, so we are looking at our next steering committee meeting, so January 29th, to keep on with our schedule that has been put together. So this would be the steering committee meeting for public input strategies that we had in our schedule for January. So if anyone would like to talk about the long range transportation plan budget scope or timeline, last minute thoughts before this is completely finalized, the coordinating committee is welcome to do that. But right now we're scheduled for a January 29th steering committee meeting.
Okay, any questions of Emily regarding this? No, okay. All right. And you'll keep us updated on that, Emily, I'm sure?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then we will move on to any major projects update report, Emily?
Yeah, I think Tom McClellan is on the
John?
call. Can
Okay,
you
great.
hear us?
Yes, I can, Emily. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Tom.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, if there's any questions on the project newsletter, it's also inclusive now of some of our smaller projects as well. And if anybody any questions on any of the updates through there, please let me know. We did leave a few updates off of the roundabout out in Summit Township. I just wanted people to be aware of our NPDES. That's our waterway or pollution control permit was approved here in November. So that, that's a big step on every project, getting that permitting. That can take upwards of 6 months. So we're really pleased with that. That came through, especially with all the challenges of COVID and some of the review agencies not being in their offices. So, that's definitely a good thing for that project. And where that project sits right now, we have a lot of the agreements signed and everything else. We're just waiting to hear from the Erie Tech School really on the right of way. They made an offer and we countered it, and we're seeing if they accept our offer. So we're in negotiations with them on the property, but the plan is to advertise in March and let that project in April. So that's one of the big projects next year that in the region that'll be constructed. So like I said, everything's looking pretty good on that one right now. If anybody has any questions on anything else here, I know there's been some funding challenges here at PennDOT, but everything in design that we work on is still progressing. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. There's some of the local projects that we've added to the newsletter that you might see on your screen right now. Some of those pedestrian and corridor enhancement projects. So like I said, we're trying to make the newsletter more encompassing for everybody and include everything. So
I think it looks great. I appreciate the dumbing it down for us a little bit, Tom, and it makes it relatable and you can understand what's going on. And well done. Thank you.
Bill Kuhn, I have a question for Tom.
yes, go ahead, Bill.
Any news on the Route 18 or Route 215 bridges over 90? Any of the bridges there in West County?
Yeah, those are along with the I-90 project that we just bid out here. I think that might have been the first part of that newsletter on page 1, I think, if I remember right. So, we'll be starting those projects here, hopefully in the spring. The last update there, you see Lindy Paving. They took over Russell Standard there outside Union City, or, bought out, I guess is a better term. And so, we're very pleased with the bid that came in on that. It was a lot lower than our estimate, which is always a good thing. And, we'll be starting probably in spring in earnest on that project, and tying into the first section of I-90 that's out that way as well. I think they have some things to wrap up on that project in spring as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Tom? Okay. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you.
Actually, Tom,
Um,
since we have you on, I know this is a very last minute thing, but would you mind talking about the PennDOT Pathways a bit?
Oh,
The funding website that is up now?
Yeah, sure, Emily. Yeah, PennDOT Pathways is it's the start of a big study. As you know, transportation funding is limited, and there's always challenges in it. And basically, our deputy secretary tasked Brian McNulty's counterpart from the Philadelphia region to lead the effort on transportation funding. And everybody's heard about, there's 3 areas why they're doing that. I mean, there's the lower revenue from the gas tax. Vehicles are becoming more efficient, and you're also seeing the electric vehicles outside the fleet. So we're not getting money into our highway trust fund for that. The unpredictable federal funding that happens from time to time. There hasn't been a gas tax in many years, and there's been different legislation to help us, iced tea and different things, over the years too. So we're hoping for a federal funding mechanism as well. And then obviously what's impacted us here this year is COVID. With the shutdown we had in March and April, a lot of people were driving, so that didn't help us out filling those coffers up. So right now this is just a study, and I want to make sure everybody heard that this is just a study, and none of these ideas are set in stone, but these are some of the ideas they're looking to bridge that funding gap. And I'm just going to read them out to you here real quick. There's probably, you've heard of spot tolling, like tolling a bridge asset or a roadway asset out there. There's, in some of the bigger cities, they have the HOV lanes. There's managed lanes and congestion pricing. It might cost a user more money to use it during a rush hour, like a high occupancy vehicle lane. There's talk of corridor tolling, tolling an entire corridor to capture those fees. And all these monies would go to those areas, to improve, is what the plans are. But like I said, there's nothing set in stone yet. They're also looking at like GPS technology as a way to capture, how many miles a person travels and assign them a fee. Kind of like how the Turnpike does the Easy Pass program. You drive so far on the Turnpike, you pay the toll. But this would be some kind of vehicle mileage based fee that they tested out over an I-95 with the I-95 coalition over in Philadelphia. And so they've done some studies on that. And lastly, the thing that you're all familiar with is different taxes and fee increases. So, and again, I just want to reiterate, none of this is set in stone. This is just the study phase, and the analysis is going on right now. You can go to our PennDOT webpage and then click on a funding link to learn a little bit more about this. There's a schedule there. They're hoping for public participation, it looks like, from February to in all of March right now, according to the schedule. So you want to get any comments you have in on any of the proposed ideas, or if maybe you have a different idea as well too that you want to submit that wasn't mentioned. So that's really it in a nutshell, I would say, Emily, right now.
Just adding to that, Tom, I think Emily did distribute email that came out to everyone from the PennDOT Pathways resource account. So they will have the opportunity to click on that link and then go provide input.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, good point there. So that's another the resource, and I believe Emily sent that out yesterday. So
Yes, it was late yesterday, so sorry about that last minute notice. But I will also put the link in the chat right now, so that people can click now. It's just PennDOT.gov/funding. So let me just put that in the chat.
All right, any other questions of Tom? All right, thank you, Tom.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Last thing, Emily, is just to set the schedule for 2021 as we look forward to closing out 2020. And Emily has those posted. They're going to be scheduled for the second Wednesday of each month, beginning in February. Correct, Emily?
Yes, that is the plan.
Okay, all righty.
And they are still virtual at the moment, until we really see a drop in cases. Things are planning to be virtual next year. Maybe by December, it will be better and we can have in-person meetings again. But at this point, we're still planning on using Zoom.
Okay, all righty. Okay. With that being said, I think we need to just reiterate for 2021 that Emily and the planning department and PennDOT are still available for us as a resource. I want to commend them for operating under the circumstances that 2020 has dealt us. They've continued their transparency and working with us on our concerns and projects. So we thank them, or I do personally thank them for what they've done for us this year. And wish everyone well in the upcoming 2021, which hopefully brighter days are ahead, let's hope. Anybody have anything else for the good of the order today?
Tim, this is Dan. I'd like to take a second and introduce Brandon Leach. He has accepted the Transportation Planning Specialist Supervisory position in the Western MPO RPO section. So I didn't know if he wanted to introduce himself to the group.
Yeah, please do, Brandon.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I've just a little background. I've actually been with PennDOT Central Office for about 11 years. Ironically, I've had my start working as a Central Office traffic analyst in the District 1 region. So it's kind of like I'm returning back, but so I was with the Bureau of Planning and Research for 8 years, and then the PennDOT Program Center for the last 2.5. And in that time, I was with the Transportation Planning Division, but with the Bridge and Special Initiatives Unit. So did a lot more things related to GIS, but looking forward to cutting my teeth in the planning partner realm here. So just wanted to say hi and looking forward to working with you all.
Fantastic. Welcome. Anything else for the good of the order? Emily, anything to wrap up?
Oh, well, happy end of 2020. Good riddance from my part. And hopefully things will get better in 2021.
Absolutely. Thanks to all for everything they've done for 2020. We appreciate it. And Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Bill Kuhn.
Second, Honey Stemka.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.